think Stephen Summerall was also going to help lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if he's there and available. Good. Stephen, if you and Faith will come down and prepare to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll have the invocation, and then if you'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, that would be great. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand as you are able for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'll call on Rabbi Schlesinger to give us our invocation.
Great. Let us pray. Our God and Creator, we gratefully acknowledge tonight that you are our God, the God of all people. You are the God of all the generations. So we now thank you. We sing your praises for our lives, which are in your hands, for our souls, which are ever in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, for the opportunity that you have given us to serve our constituents of Macon-Bibb County, and for all your gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. We pray that peace and goodwill will obtain among all the citizens of our county, our state, our land, and that belief in you will continue to spread its many blessings among us, exalting us all in righteousness. Amen.
Amen. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. Rabbi, thank you very much for leading us in the invocation, and our Pledge of Allegiance were led by two of our GCAP students. GCAP stands for Georgia Civic Awareness Program for Students. And tonight, Faith Fabian is here, and for the 2017-2018 school year, Faith will be a junior at Mount DeSales Academy. From the time she was a young child, adults noted her unusual ability to communicate in ways way beyond her years. Current affairs and politics have always been of great interest, and in her words, quote, "This generation must learn how others have championed on our behalf to guarantee privileges we take for granted. We must be ready to step up and become the next set of leaders. We must not only focus on whether our personal rights are protected, but work to make sure everyone has a path to a better future," unquote. Also leading us in the pledge was Stephen Summerall, and for the 2017-2018 school year, Stephen will be a senior at First Presbyterian Day School, where he was inducted into the National Honor Society and received honor roll status for the 9th through the 11th grade. Stephen joined GCAPS to develop his leadership skills in order to be an effective leader and citizen in Bibb County. He continues the legacy of his great-grandfather, a senior pastor at a church located downtown, and his father, a bivocational pastor and optometrist. We're delighted, Stephen and Faith, to have you here, and congratulations on a very successful time in the GCAPS program. Thank you for being here. Ask them to stand back up again. Yeah, Faith and Stephen, would you please stand so that everybody can recognize you? And thank you again very much for being here and being part of the GCAPS program. Next, we want to see if there is a motion to add an item that was discussed in executive session immediately prior to this meeting and add it to tonight's agenda. I'll ask the clerk to read the title by caption, or read the caption for us.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve the written decision denying the renewal application submitted by B. Hall Petroleum, Inc., doing business as Supergas, located at 2760 Montpelier Avenue and for other lawful purposes.
Is there a motion to add that to the agenda for tonight? Motion by Schlesinger, is there a second by Shepherd? Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adding that to the agenda tonight signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. That will be added now as item K under old business, and we'll get to that momentarily. Then next, back to your written and printed agenda, we have next the approval of minutes, and the minutes of our pre-commission meeting of July the 5th, which was a Wednesday, the day after our Tuesday meeting, and the regular meeting that was also held on the 5th have been prepared and distributed. If there are any changes or corrections, we need to know that now. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes. By Schlesinger, second by Bechtel. The further discussion, hearing none, all in favor of approval of the minutes as prepared, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and both sets of minutes are approved. Next, we have invited several people here. The first is to issue a proclamation in honor of National Disability Voter Registration Week. I have that proclamation down at the podium. Is anybody here on behalf of National Disability Voter Registration? Good. Would you join me down at the podium, please? And any interested commissioners who want to join me are welcome to join me. Good. This is a proclamation that I wanted to issue, and it reads as follows. Whereas there are over 50 million people with disabilities of all ages living in communities throughout the United States, and whereas the disability community has a critical interest in policies enacted at local, state, and national levels that affect the integration of people with disabilities, young and old, into our communities, and whereas getting the disability community involved in influencing public policies is essential if these policies are to meet the real needs of people with disabilities to live in the community, and whereas voting is one way for the disability community to exert their influence at local, state, and national elections, and whereas there are multiple efforts to develop state disability coalitions around the issue of voting, and whereas Rev Up America, Rev R-E-V standing for Register, Educate, and Vote, is a national effort to encourage state and local disability community voting coalitions, and whereas members of the National Disability Rights community are organizing a National Disability Voter Registration Week, July the 17th through the 21st of 2017. Now, therefore, I, Robert A.B. Rickert, do hereby proclaim July 17th through the 21st, 2017 as National Disability Voter Registration Week in Macon-Bibb County, and I encourage all citizens to support the growing involvement of the disability community in the political process. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand, caused the seal of the consolidated government to be affixed this 17th day of July 2017. And at this point in time, I would like to present this to you, and with my thanks and appreciation for all that you're doing to try to increase voter registration, especially by the disability community, and ask if you would make a comment or two.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commission. We greatly appreciate your support of our efforts to have an informed democratic society where everyone has a voice and an opportunity to be heard. And as the library and the League of Women Voters, we have joined together this week to invite as many as possible to the table. So thank you for supporting that effort.
Next, Commissioner Tillman wanted to recognize and honor a young man, and I'll call on Commissioner Tillman at this time. Commissioner Tillman?
Keon Johnson, if you and your mom would come up. This is one we all gonna be proud of. Come on around here. Come on this side. Keon Johnson is a 9-year-old at Alexander II. Keon recently traveled with a traveling baseball team to Destin, Florida, and they won the World Series. Keon got his start over at Vine Ingle, and he continues to play. Keon has been selected as the only student person in Macon-Bibb County to represent his city in Orlando, Florida, for the, I want to say it correctly. Let me pull it up. He will represent his city. He was selected as the 4th player out of 1,000 players. He is a power hitter. He's a power hitter, a third baseman, and in that World Series, he hit it out of the park for the home run win. And
Hey!
and later this year, Keon will compete against 7 other regions in the USA ESPN Wide World of Sports down in Orlando, Florida. We've got to help Keon get to where he needs to get, and our organization, and we hope others will join in. But on behalf of Macon-Bibb County, we commend you for your outstanding athletic ability in baseball, and we want to give all recognition and praise to your parents. Thank you, Keon.
Hey, hey! Woo!
And they've got a picture for you, Mr. Mayor. He said he's met you, and he was at the groundbreaking at Freedom Park. He's got a picture of you and he together.
Thank you, Keon. Thank you very much. That's great. We have some other invited guests tonight, and let me call on Assistant County Manager Charles Coney to come up and make this presentation, please. Charles?
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. We stand before you tonight to say that we safely returned back from Japan. We were fortunate through the endowment from the Tomodachi Foundation, the Center for International Exchange, and from our sister city, Karobi, to finance 15 students going to Japan for 2 weeks along with adults as a full delegation representing our beautiful city in the 27th Annual Japan America Grassroots Summit. Thank you. What you have before you at your desk is a copy of our pictorial report, which was submitted back to Tomodachi to let them recognize what our students learned, the visualizations of how they have been impacted, the transformation that occurred from this across the seas trip, was a moment in a lifetime for many of us, but for them, they're experiencing it in their early transition period. So if they would stand with me. What you also have is a sheet of washi. In Japan, paper is very prized, and they go to exorbitant methods to make it beautiful. So we brought back from you something from the country, handmade. It's something that only 300 people in this country of Japan now do, but we brought it back for you. Sheets of washi, so that you would know how much we appreciate you endorsing and assisting us to make this possible. Likewise, you have a picture that comes compliments of our documentary photography, Mr. Rafi Shepard, showing you us at the closing ceremony. We stand here to say thank you to some very important people. I've already mentioned the Tomodachi Foundation. This video will be sent to them in Japan, in Tokyo, as well as the Center for International Exchange and our beloved sister city, Karobi. But in addition to that, YKK assisted, the Japan American Society, who is representing. Stephen drove all the way down from Atlanta to be here to say, Macon-Bibb County, thank you for allowing your students to represent not just Macon, but America. The Bibb County School District, the Tubman Museum, and most importantly, our beloved International Cherry Blossom Festival. All of these, along with so many others, work to make this a reality and to make it such a success. So, commissioners, thank you for all that you have done to support our youth leadership program, and we are hopeful that what you have before you just gives you a glimpse of the representation that they have given on behalf of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, congratulations to all of the GCAP students for participating and for representing us so well in Japan, and this certainly explains why you were serving sushi at the reception just a few minutes ago. So, again, thank you very much for your representation of our city and our country as ambassadors, youth ambassadors in Japan. So, thank you very much. We're proud of you. Next item on our agenda are reports from our standing committees. First was Operations and Finance, and that report will be given to us by Chairman Bechtel. Chairman Bechtel?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Operations and Finance Committee met on July 11th and 2017 took the following action. The committee approved the following agreements and contracts. Approved an agreement with Georgia Department of Corrections for 7 work details from McEver Probation Center to be used by the Public Works Department. Also approved an agreement with the Macon Transit Authority for the lease of space in the terminal station for use by Economic and Community Development Department. Committee also approved the following projects to be paid from 2017 SPLOST bond proceeds. We approved an agreement with California State Skate Parks for professional services for Phase 2 of Central City Park Skate Park in the amount of $550,000. Also approved an agreement with Triple Point Engineering for the performance of engineering services related to the closing of the Walker Road Solid Waste Landfill in the amount of $112,250. Also approved an agreement with Thompson Pump and Manufacturing Company for 2 Thompson pumps and hose accessories for use by Solid Waste Department in the amount of $102,482. Committee also approved the following grant requests and awards. Committee approved submitting a letter to the Georgia Department of Transportation confirming the county's intent to proceed with and fund the land acquisition for Runway 28 Extension Project and the environmental assessment for the Runway Extension Project at the Middle Georgia Regional Airport. And that concludes the report of Operations and Finance for July 11th.
Thank you, Chairman Bechtel. Next is Economic and Community Development Committee, and that report will be given to us by Vice Chairman Lucas. Vice Chairman Lucas?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and fellow commissioners. Want to thank our chair, Larry Schlesinger, for allowing others on the committee to periodically make the report of the actions of the committee. The Economic and Community Development Committee met on July 11th. The committee approved the expenditure of blight bond funds from District 9 for the Napier Brookdale Grand Enhancement Project. That's Commissioner Tillman, in the amount of $118,200, and from District 8, Commissioner Watkins, for the Walnut Streetscape Project in the amount of $175,370. And this concludes the report of the Economic and Community Development Committee.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Lucas. There is no report from the Public Safety Committee. So that takes us to Facilities and Engineering Committee, and that report, I understand, will be given to us by Vice Chairman Jones. Vice Chairman Jones?
Thank you, Mayor. The Facilities and Engineering Committee met July the 11th, 2017, covered 2 items. Number 1, committee approved the installation of 1 street light along Mohawk Drive. Second item, the committee heard a report from representatives of Georgia Department of Transportation regarding the progress on Forest Hill Road. We were told that all items would be completed, lights, sidewalks, traffic light, with the exception of landscaping, which is by October the 31st. And that completes the report of Facilities and Engineering.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Jones. I inadvertently skipped over item 6. It was at the bottom of my page, and I didn't see it, and that was a time for public comments on agenda items. We had one person to sign up. Louis Hargrove wanted to talk to us, but this works out just as well. So come on down, Mr. Hargrove, because the committee reports just referred to one of the items on the agenda that I think you want to discuss, which is blight bond funds in District 8. Glad you're here with us. Recognized for 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner. First, I want to have a moment of silence for the guy lost his life out there in East Macon in Rockdale apartment this morning. Thank you. Yes, I want to thank Mr. Watkins in the 8th District for putting some bond funds over there in Pleasant Hill. But that's a main highway going through there. But if you go on down in Pleasant Hill, 1st Avenue, 2nd Avenue, 3rd Avenue, 4th Avenue, 5th Avenue, look like a war zone, like planes been through there and bombed. Please don't stop right there just because of Walnut Street. But you go on up to the end of Walnut Street to Clayton Street. They got mansions up in that area, about where the lawyer stay, Anderson, up in that area. So people should do it down toward Walnut Street, 1st Avenue, 2nd Avenue, whatever. I've been preaching this for over 20 years. Young people, continue to do good. I love you for what you're doing. I started an organization named CAP, concerned about people. Had a few people help me, like Watkins up there, and a few others. Some of them got involved in politics, they dropped out. Left me out there by myself. But that's okay, you know. I still believe in nonviolence. We need to do something about this violence we got here in Macon-Bibb County. It's terrible. It's terrible. And another thing, Mayor, somebody asked me the other day, he said, how the mayor keep the commission in line? I said, mayor is a professional politician. That's the reason he do it, how he do it.
You're about to get out of line now, Mr. Hargrove.
Well, I'm just saying what somebody said. They said. But you know, they tell lies too, man.
This is the time to talk to us about agenda items.
Well, I'm talking about it, but I had to bring your name in there.
Okay, well, circle back around to an agenda item.
Well, I'm going to let you have it, man. And let peace be still. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hargrove. We appreciate you being here. And Mr. Hargrove, I think, was the only one that signed up to talk to us about an agenda item. Is that right, Judge? Okay. So that'll take us now to the consent agenda. There are no items for us on the consent agenda for tonight. So that takes us into old business. And the first item of old business is to hire prison crews to help work on public works projects. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute a work detail agreement with the Georgia Department of Corrections for 7 offender work details from McEver Probation Detention at a cost of $276,500 and for other purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Item B is an agreement with the Macon-Bibb County Transit Authority for leasing space in the terminal station, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Macon-Bibb County Transit Authority for the lease of space in the terminal station building for use by Macon-Bibb County Economic and Community Development and for other purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Got one no. The resolution is adopted. And that brings us to item C. Item C, at the pre-commission meeting, there was a motion to refer this back to the committee for some additional work on the resolution by the legal department. That was passed by the committee of the whole, so that item has been referred back to Operations and Finance Committee and will be taken up at their next meeting. That brings us to item D. Item D is a resolution with an engineering firm for work to begin the process of closure of the Walker Road landfill, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Triple Point Engineering, Inc. for the performance of professional engineering services in the amount of $112,250 related to closing the Macon-Bibb County Walker Road Municipal Solid Waste Landfill to be paid from 2017 SPLOST bond proceeds and for other purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. That brings us to item E, which is the purchase of some water pumps, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Thompson Pump and Manufacturing Company, Inc. to the amount of $102,482 for two Thompson pumps, Model 8HTC-DJDST-45T-M, and hose accessories for use by the Macon-Bibb County Solid Waste Department to be paid from the 2017 SPLOST bond proceeds and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution pertaining to a grant and matching funds for land acquisition for an extension of the runway at Macon Downtown Airport, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to submit a letter confirming the county's intent to proceed with and fund the land acquisition for Runway 28 Extension Project at Macon Downtown Airport during the state FY 2018 with local matching funds of an estimated amount of $7,500 to be paid from county funds approved from the FY 2018 budget and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Item G is a companion grant and matching funds. This for a runway extension project at Middle Georgia Regional Airport and doing the environmental assessment. So I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to submit a letter confirming the county's intent to proceed with and fund the environmental assessment for runway extension project at Middle Georgia Regional Airport during the state FY 2018 with local matching funds of an estimated amount of $3,125 to be paid from county funds approved for the FY 2018 budget and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is an ordinance to appropriate money for blight, a specific blight project, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to appropriate $118,200 from District 9 blight bond funds to be used for the Napier, Brookdale, Grand Enhancement, and Blight Remediation Project and for other purposes.
Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the ordinance is adopted. Next, item I is another ordinance to appropriate blight bond funds for use on Walnut Street, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to appropriate $175,370 from District 8 Blight Bond funds to be used for the Walnut Streetscape and Blight Remediation Project and for other purposes.
Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted. Next is item J involving a street light on Mohawk Road, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission approving a request for the installation of one street light along Mohawk Road on pole number 31420 pursuant to Article 10 of Chapter 29 of the Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances and for other lawful purposes.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is the added item, item K, which is the denial of a alcohol license application renewal. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve the written decision denying the renewal application submitted by B. Hall Petroleum, Inc., doing business as Supergas, located at 2760 Montpelier Avenue, and for other lawful purposes.
Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. There is no new business for us to read at this time, but I would. Just did it. Well, there's no new business to read at this time, but please check your agenda, which will come out on Friday. And we anticipate additional ordinances and resolutions being prepared by the legal department and coming down during the week. They'll be on the agenda on Friday, and they will be taken up at committee meetings next Tuesday morning. That's the 25th, beginning at 9 o'clock a.m. In the conference room behind us. Now's the time for public comments on non-agenda items. This is the time when people can come and talk to us about items of general concern, not that we were taking action on tonight. And first is Deborah Wood, who wants to come and talk to us about the housing crisis. Ms. Wood, Deborah Wood, you still here with us? She may have stepped out or left early. Next, Mr. Robert Curry. Mr. Curry wanted to talk to us about the special purpose local option sales tax and recreation centers and streetlights. Mr. Curry? Good. Thank you very much for being here. You're recognized for 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon, everybody, commissioners, and general audience. I wanted to talk about street lights, one of my issues. I was looking at this in the agenda about the street light on Mohawk, one street light. I want to know how is it that some areas can get 100+ street lights? Well, I'm gonna be specific. We have the north-south connector running from Forest Hill Road to Pioneer Avenue. Would have been 4 lanes. On Forest Hill Road, the people actually didn't want that. I have no problem with progress. But progress should be progress for everybody. It shouldn't be a pick and choose or disparate treatment or favoritism type thing. We all pay the taxes, the SPLOST money. So on Forest Hill Road, I counted, Mr. Mayor, I live in District 9, Mr. Tillman District, Commissioner Tillman. 120 plus new streetlights. 120 plus new streetlights, sir. So I'm trying to figure out, the people didn't really want the progress there. After the progress got there, they got 100 plus streetlights on historic type poles, the black metal poles. In my district, District 2, District 9. I want to talk about District 2 too, but District 9. We have 14 streetlights, and we on that same project, this North-South Connector, with the paving and the bridge work at Log Cabin Drive. Now, I talked to my commissioner several times. If you can go back, you can see me on a bridge the pedestrian bridge, talking to my commissioner about the street lights, a drainage problem. Now, we have people on my street standing in the dark at the bus stop. So I'm saying, how do this area get 100 plus street lights? I think my wife went by there and said they got some more now. I just counted 120. How do they get all of those street lights? And on the project that they did with the 1.2 million on my street, Log Cabin, my area, District 9, we have 14 street lights. Now, the 120 is not the old street lights on Forest Hill. That's the new street light, plus the old one. The bridge that we cross in the dark, in the shadow, we can't get no lights. Can't get no lights for the bus stop. Now, Mr. Mayor, we got the bridge going back to your favorite bridge. I call it the Edmund Pedeston Bridge at Mercer. My wife and I went by that bridge, Mr. Mayor. It was lit up. I used to work on fighter jet. You would land a fighter jet, the helicopter, use your Huey or whatever, on that bridge because it lit up so pretty. And I'm saying, now, what is this going on? You always preach safety. You know, that's one of your issues, safety. I'm saying, now, if it's safety in one district, it should be safety in another district. If we don't have the disparity or the favoritism, or just the straight out, do what you want to do type thing. Okay. So I don't know what it's going to take to get a street light. With the recreation, we spending $39 million on recreation in my district, District 9, bordering District 2, Freedom Park, and Bellevue area. We had Freedom Park Gym where everybody could pool in there and use that gym. You closed that gym down and made it boxing, where it was a multi-purpose building for the old, young, the new, the children, everything. Let the swimming pool go awry. Now you're talking about putting a splash pad up there. As far as recreation, children need to learn how to swim at an early age, black children especially, at an early age. But you can't learn how to swim on the splash pad. Okay. And to top that off, with the restroom facilities with the splash money. Our in-house thing over at Tatton Square Park, those amenities over there at Tatton Square Park is like Hartsfield Jackson when I'm leaving the country or leaving the state. They got all the updated amenities. The restroom facility in L.H. Williams District 2 and my district, District 9, coming down a prefab trailer, they set it down. Hot, one commode, no paper towels, no hand sanitizer, no handicap friendly. So I'm saying, Mr. Mayor, it's something wrong with this picture. Now, how can we stand by and let this happen? And that, it should be fair for everybody. We all in this together. It ain't nowhere I'm the enemy and you the. This friendly fire that's happening to us, friendly fire. Friendly fire is you hurt, you kill out or whatever by your own company.
Your time has expired, Mr. Kerr. Thank you very much for your...
Okay, so I'm tired of coming down here with the repeated offender type conversation, Mr. Mayor. It's going to have to be something done legally about this because it don't seem to penetrate nobody down here with this disparity. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for hearing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kerr. We appreciate it. Mr. Hargrove, you're down here to talk also about a non-agenda item. Do you want to address us on a non-agenda item as well?
Yeah, man. I'm glad I do have a little patience today. The reason I said I want to talk, see, I don't ever write down nothing. I just whatever come out my mouth, it come out of it. Whether you like it or don't like it. I haven't accepted no 30 pieces of silver from anyone. But what I'm saying, I come down here, I think it was June 6th, spoke. Never seen it on television after that. I asked y'all to name something after C. Jack Ellis. He was elected 2 terms as mayor of Macon, called the city then. Okay, nobody might not like the man, but yet and still, he was elected by the majority of the people. 2 terms, 2 full terms. Either you can name the Macon Transfer Authority after him, which he did a lot down there. They don't want to give him credit for that. Or this government center, what you name. C. Jack Ellis Government Center. But y'all don't want to do it. You ain't going to do it. But I'm going to speak about it. You know, I mean, he ain't my favorite person, but right is right. I've been living in this city all my life. Been out there in the community a long time. Worked for the state 18 and a half years. And every time I speak out, people want to cut me down. But that don't make no difference, you know. It don't stop me. Because I believe in helping the poor, economic disadvantaged and myself in the kind of way I can. Anybody. It don't matter if you're purple. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, I'm going to try to let you know it. But I haven't accepted 30 pieces of silver from anyone. Never will. And, Mayor, I thought you was a fair person. You know, I supported you from the get-go. But now I'm getting a little doubt about you. I really am, but you know you can't run no more. But now it's time for us peoples, we the peoples, need to start thinking about the election coming up. We need to see who we're going to put in office, who we're going to put out of office. Because we can't go to them and talk to them. I got a person here right now I favor for being the next mayor, and she's a she. I'm not going to call her name, but she know who I'm talking about. Right now, she's not in government. Well, like I said, man, I love everybody. Might not show it, but I do. Within my heart. And it hurt me to see people out there still killing up our youth. It's a crying doggone shame. And we come down here and laugh and go on like nothing happening out there. Robbery and all that crime happening every day. But I don't never hear y'all out there talking about that. Well, anyway, man, I don't know whether I'm going to keep coming down here or not, because I've been coming down here a long time talking about what I want to talk about. And, you know, you started that 5-minute thing, the commission. I feel like a person should be able to speak as long as they want to. This is my government. You work for me. You all work for me. You might not want to, but you do. So every time I go in there and buy me a loaf of wheat bread, I pay taxes for it. Thank you. Y'all have a good night. And I hope you sleep good, because your country going to worry you if you're doing wrong. And some of y'all know who I'm talking about. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Mr. Hargrove. We appreciate you being here and appreciate you expressing your opinion. Is there any point of personal privilege? I don't see a light. If not, can I get a motion to adjourn? Got a motion to adjourn without objection? We're adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.